Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back. It's good to see you here again. So I have an interesting video for you today, this one being on a lighthouse, and here it is. It looks great. So I was doing a little bit of research for lighthouses for this project, and you know, they're very interesting structures. Just the way they're built, the way they're made, the purpose, how you can see these lighthouses from miles and miles out on sea. I found that very interesting. So anyway, here's the project. It's a lighthouse with brick. We got functional light on the top, and it looks really good in my opinion. So I'll tell you what, why don't we go to the video? I'll show you how I did this. All right, everybody, got our coffee, and we're gonna have a chat about the video. So first things first, here is the main part of the structure. This is a popcorn cup. My wife has a bunch of these. We have a popcorn maker, and well, this shape was pretty close to what I needed after a couple of failed attempts trying to make it on my own. So here was the perfect shape, and I used a little bit of cardboard, glued that in the bottom of the cup, and that was the basic shape of the lighthouse. So I took it outside and I spray painted this whole thing black. Didn't really care about the color, I just wanted the whole thing spray painted so it'd be easier to paint with a brush later. And then a little bit of Mod Podge and about 800 and some bricks later, and started putting them on the cylinder. Started putting them on the actual structure itself. This took such a long time. I've been going with smaller brick sizes. I find they kind of look a little bit better in my opinion. So it took quite a bit of time to get this done, but it looks pretty good and it came out well. So there you can see the brickwork is done. Nice and jagged. There's pieces that are sticking out. There are gaps. I really like it. So this was just some more XPS foam. And what I had done is I had cut the XPS foam kind of like the ends of beams and did some wood grain effect on it. And these are going to be glued onto the top of the cylinder here. Now this is going to simulate the supports for the decking of the lighthouse. And there you can see they're all put on and they have that wood grain effect. So after that was all glued up, I decided that I changed the actual look of what I was going to do. And so I put some more brick on there. I wanted to have this look a little bit more, depth to the project. So I put that brick on there, and then I cut out basically a platform out of this XPS foam, just almost like a donut shape, cut a hole in the middle of it as well. And that's for the lighting to go through. Textured it, cut it up so that it would have some brick look to it. Use the pencil to make those grooves a little bit thicker. And then this was going to go on top of the brick that I had just done, as you can see there. So this was a last minute change, but I'm glad I did it because it turned out well. So after that, I cut another piece of XPS foam, textured it, and made some brick effects in this piece of foam. And using the razor blade and the pencil, as I've done many times before, just to get that look nice and 3D. So then I glued that in on top of that platform, added a couple other pieces of brick, and that's what it looks like. It's starting to look really cool, almost castle-y.
Hey everybody, if you're enjoying this video, please do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Let's go back to the video.
Now here came the part that was a little bit difficult. These were the upright supports for the actual light part, the light structure, and also for the roof. I glued these on. They were a little bit flimsy, so I had to really be careful. After that, I just used a piece of cardboard. Now this was going to be the roof. Glued that up, a circle, cut it down the center, and then just kind of folded it over and glued it into place. And that was basically the structure for the roof. Now these were interesting to make. I used some UV resin and a circle mold, basically a half sphere mold. I made 2 of those out of UV resin, and this is just a piece of XPS foam that was painted. I stressed it a little bit with my finger in order to make it bend so that it wouldn't break. And then as you can see, I just started gluing it onto the one side of that UV resin piece of glass. Made it into a circle, then I glued the other side on, and basically a two-sided light, two-sided magnifier with those pieces of UV resin on. It looked really, really cool. Cut a little piece out in the bottom so that I can get a light up in there as well. And here's a child's traffic cone from a traffic set that I used in a video of quite a while ago, actually. So I just used that, painted it black, and then I glued the light onto this. Now, of course, I did drill a hole in that traffic cone so we can get the light in the center of it. So just glue that on, and that's just the basic light to go inside the top of the structure. And I had a bunch of these resin molds that, you know, when you do a resin pour, you always have some resin left over. So I always use it to make different molds of things that I have, just so that I have it when I need it. And here's a perfect example of when I needed it. So I had some doors, and I also had some door frames, I guess. And I used those for the doors and the windows of the lighthouse. So after those were glued in, went about and I just started to paint the whole thing a very light gray. As you can see there, really just didn't care about the look of it. I just wanted to get a layer of paint on there because there was going to be a few layers going on after that. The next thing I did was this piece of XPS foam. I ran it through my hot wire cutter and just did jagged edges on the one side. Cut it up nice and thin into slices, and then as you can see here, just cutting it up a little bit to making shingles. And then I just spent some time gluing a whole bunch of shingles onto that roof, and it came out pretty cool. I like the way the shingles look on this one. Really jagged, really not nice looking, I guess you could say, but that's what I was going for. I wanted it to kind of have a peasant built style to this. So there it is. The shingles came out pretty cool, nice and textured. And then I went on to making this paint job, this brickwork look really interesting and having depth to the color. So I just smudged on a bunch of paint, blue, red, and brown, getting it all over the place so I can have a whole bunch of different color when I get the other layers of paint on, and you can still see the color underneath. And I did something similar with the doors here, all the individual bricks. I painted them up different colors. Side note, next time I do this, I won't use such vibrant colors. I'll use more of a pastel. I think that would show up a little bit better as far as how the colors would work together. So after I did that, a heavy layer of black wash all over everything. This is where I got into all the brick cracks. Made sure that that seeped in, and then I started using dry brushing techniques to mute the colors a little bit and to make this look really, really cool. So then I got out my makeup kit, really cheap makeup kit from what my wife says, and started doing some individual bricks just with this pigment powder is really what it is. Doing a little bit of random brickwork. It's not painting, but getting the powder on there. I did a few different colors, and boy, it just popped. It looked really, really good. So here's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please come back again. I got more exciting stuff to show you.